And baby, I'm TFC till I die.
Hello and welcome to Toronto Till I Die, the Toronto FC fan show. I'm Mike Newell, and welcome back, everybody. Welcome to 2026. The world feels like it's burning a little bit, but hey, TFC's back, so at least we can commiserate over that for the next 45 minutes to an hour. With my co-amigos, as always, Michael Singh and Jeffrey P. Nesker. Gentlemen, how are you doing? How were the holidays? How's sort of the off season treating you? Are your legs in shape? Are you ready to do the 1800? Are you ready to beat Derek Etienne Jr. in the fitness testing? How you feel?
That was such a deep cut, man. Like that was.
We're going deep. We're back. We got to go deep.
Like I get the sense that you'd have to catch your breath after about 40 meters.
Oh, dude, I know. So funny. I'm
gonna hire a ringer. Like I'm not even gonna do it. I'm gonna hire.
In high school, I ran the 1800 meter in high school.
Okay.
And no, I could not do that now. Absolutely.
We should do that for content. Get a Toronto Till I Die 1800 meter
beat test, like
I'll film it. It'll be great.
800 meter run.
Yeah. We got to get a field to insure us. We got to get like vomit buckets. We're gonna be like the remember the
my rider insists on orange slices.
Yeah,
orange slices before and after the race.
With the guys like throwing up in like first person. You know,
can we run 800 meters before Jeff runs 400 meters?
I mean, yes,
that I can do. It won't look pretty, but I can do that.
Insane. Yeah.
No, it's good, man. Happy New Year, everybody. When's the appropriate cutoff for like the Happy New Year?
Larry David says like 3 days after New Year's, so we're well past it. But
I still drop it. I haven't seen people. Happy New Year.
Yeah, exactly. Like to be happy.
Because we haven't seen each other, it's fine. I had this debate at work with somebody who's like, I'm going to be saying it till like Jan 27th, and I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If
they've said it once to you.
Yeah,
like you get one opportunity. If you don't say it in that time that you see the person, you can't say it afterwards.
My cutoff was Tuesday. This will be because I love you guys and I haven't seen you in a bit, so that's fine.
Exactly. So happy New Year all around to everyone.
Generally, my cutoff is about a week.
Yeah, 100%.
Noted. Got my etiquette.
Noted.
Never say Happy New Year to Newell after.
Yeah, put it in the show Bible. Exactly. Let's get started. I can't wait to get to random TFC player of the day because I got a whopper.
We got a new segment.
I haven't made graphics for it yet because, to be fair, I haven't also charged my Bluetooth earphones, so they may fail halfway through the show. We're a bit out of practice, guys. We're a little rusty.
I should have clarified, Jeff. And we're gonna go pre-production here. We're gonna peel the curtain back. It's one per episode. Not every.
But I'm gonna make like a cool like herds the word kind of intro for it because that's
totally. But like you don't have one today.
Oh, I don't get to speak.
You do not get to speak today.
No, not on that. We each get one once a show.
No way, dude! I am bringing the heat with this one. Like we'll revisit that for later on. But
save it for next show.
Yeah.
It'll be great for next show.
But still a random
I can't do the same guy again. I've got something for our guy.
For
specific.
Okay,
guy.
for the guy that we're gonna do today.
You can talk about the guy.
Totally.
You can talk about the guy. You just can't have your own.
Getting fired from my own show. Jeez, man.
There we go.
Yeah, shut the hell up. Let's mute him. All right.
All right. Well, listen. We're glad you're all back with us. Lots to talk about. This off season.
But apparently, we're not allowed to talk about this. Which, of course, we're going to talk about until we're
we're going to definitely talk about that. But, it felt like things weren't happening for a bit. It felt like things were in slow motion. And then all the things started happening in December once MLS Cup was done. Jason Hernandez has been in his bag, trying to get signings done, transfers in, some new faces into the club. The biggest one being, of course, Walker Zimmerman, free agent signing, coming in from Nashville, 2-time MLS Defender of the Year, coming to solidify a backline that improved in 2025. I think we said a lot of negative things about Toronto FC last year, but one thing we have to say is that from a goals conceded perspective, they were a lot better. But he's coming in to solidify that. A lot of talk about really building the spine of this team properly from both Jason Hernandez and Robin Fraser. But wanted to get both of your reactions to the signing. Is this the right sort of first piece in the rebuild? And just your overall reaction to having Walker Zimmerman now a Red after years of him terrorizing us on set pieces.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I loved his presser. I thought it was great. I thought it was a return to like the sort of standard going on with the presser, without like the sort of forced duplicity that we're so used to at TFC. I thought he was very sincere. I thought he was quite well spoken. He said a few things. There were a few sound bites that I really, really dug. I mean, I think I'm going to paraphrase, but the one that was sort of around, I know the fans are pissed and that's the kind of fan base that I want. I thought that was really, really well said. A fan base that sort of demands excellence and demands wins. Before I forget, and I know we're going to circle back to this. In fact, I'll leave it until we circle back. But yeah, I was really impressed. Took forever to get over the line, and to the point where I almost thought that maybe it wasn't going to happen. That's the other notable thing I have about the Zimmerman deal, is that it was sort of smoke and then fire and then nothing for like months, and then happened.
Yeah, I mean, I love the signing. I think Walker Zimmerman's going to be a fan favorite in Toronto. Obviously, pedigree-wise, he comes in and sets the bar in Toronto. I don't know if we've quite really had a defender quite with the same resume as Walker Zimmerman. Obviously, you go way back, and there's certain players that might check a certain couple boxes. Even a guy like Torsten Frings, obviously he was forced to play center back a little bit. Obviously, insane kind of resume there. Carlos Salcedo, we saw that he was kind of like a step above everyone else, but struggled to adapt here during his time in Toronto. Walker Zimmerman is as established as really you can get in Major League Soccer when it comes to central defenders. So, first thing that popped in my head was the Matt Hedges, Kevin Longs of the world with Toronto FC, and the way that they've been able to step in and sort of cement themselves. Sorry, Jeff. I think I'm getting a slight echo from you.
Oh, cool. Then I have to put my headphones on. I'll do that.
No, you're okay.
I'll put on the chargy ones. Just give me a second, guys. Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll mute you for a sec. There we go. So yeah, like Walker Zimmerman, like the first thing I thought of was Matt Hedges, Kevin Long, and how they were able to come in as veteran pieces that were very solid at the back, no nonsense kind of defenders, guys who can kind of lead that back line and really tell it when to step up, when to drop, give direction in a way that certain types of center backs can do that. Obviously, the best in TFC history was a guy like Drew Moore, and I there's so many times where we relate these center backs to Drew Moore, but because they have the same kind of qualities that TFC has been sort of looking for. So for me to get Walker Zimmerman on a non-DP deal, it's a home run for Toronto FC. It has to be. Like it is. It could go down as the best signing TFC make this offseason, and that includes a potential DP coming through the door.
Yeah, and I think you get a two-time MLS Defender of the Year. Pretty much a U.S. men's national team. I don't know if mainstay is the right word, but he's usually in their team. I guess, a lot of the time when we bring in a free agent, when we sign a free agent, it gets compared to what we did in 2016, 2017, right? Does this compare to Drew Moore? Does this compare to bringing in X player, a Victor Vat, whatever that looks like? I guess, look, I think there's some people sort of in the comments saying, like this could either be a Drew Moore situation or this could be a Matt Hedges situation where you're bringing in a vaunted or at least a defender that has a really good pedigree in this league and should be really good for this team. But, either it's going to work out to be a guy who could be transformational. I think that word was used several times in his press conference, or it could be a Matt Hedges situation where you get a guy who, I don't think was necessarily terrible for TFC, but, just the pieces around him, it just didn't work out.
He was
And
pretty good for TSC. We got a good return for him.
yeah, I think he was decent for TFC. I just think it was the situation that he was
Yeah.
in, and that was not a team that you're going to really succeed in. So I don't know if I'm feeling more optimistic about things, but I do think this is more on. I think fans should be on the more optimistic side of this, right? I think you're getting a guy who's pretty solid. Yes, the injuries have been there the last 2 seasons. I think he's missed some time with various injuries. But I think if you can get a guy who can come in, be a stabilizing force, both from just being on the pitch in the physical sense, but being a guy who can, kind of get a hold of the locker room. I think that's almost as important as the on-field stuff. And if he can sort of, and it sounds like, as Jeff, you alluded to his press conference, I think you wanted to touch on this. It's something that he is looking forward to doing. And if that's the case, then I think you kind of have a win here already.
Yeah, I mean, injury concerns or schmidgery concerns. It's TFC is going to get injured, right? We just have to hope that he's the general at the back. The thing that we've sorely been missing, and as we sort of say goodbye to the Matt Hedges and the other older core of TFC, I think it's a serious upgrade. Hollywood HH is just asking, didn't he ask to leave? I think the scuttlebutt on Hedges asking to leave was that once he realized that that version of TFC wasn't going anywhere and he's got limited miles on his legs, he was already not living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where he's from and where his family's from. So it was just he asked to be released, and I think the club did right by him. Right, you can't have a player that doesn't want to be there, which is something that we're infinitely used to in TFC land. So I think this is the case where the club did right by Hedges, and you shouldn't besmirch his legacy. Like he came here to win on a 1-year deal, and it was obvious that we weren't. So he got out. More power to him.
One thing I'll also say, I'm surprised people aren't more excited about what this Walker Zimmerman signing.
I think we've all got PTSD. I think at this point
I think it's partly that. I think a lot of people are also just like, where's the 9? Where's the 9? Where's the 9? Everybody is.
And some people are anti-American. They're saying, what are we doing? Why are we getting all, we're not going to talk about Josh Sargent, but it's sort of, look, he's hungry. He wants minutes. There obviously is a selfish sort of aspect to that. Of course there is. Why can't we profit from his wanting of minutes towards furthering our own goals? I don't understand why the two things have to be mutually exclusive from each other.
And Mike, it just, you mentioned like your surprise fans aren't more excited by this.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned some of these points, but for your money, and you've seen Walker, you've covered him a bit when you were reporting for MLS.com. Like, what about Walker Zimmerman really should fans be excited about in terms of a player coming to TFC?
Yeah, I mean, he is your prototypical old schoolish kind of center back, like central defender, right? Very strong, great in the air, wins challenges, makes smart reads despite, his standout asset being his ability to win challenges. He is a very, very smart defender. And I think as you guys have outlined too, he's an aerial threat as well. Set pieces, he brings that element that TFC really haven't had in the last few seasons, aside from a guy like DeAndre Kerr. So adding that element back into the mix as well. And then what you guys touched on too, the person that Walker Zimmerman is, it shines through right away. That's such a quality add to that dressing room environment, to the club itself. This is this is a huge, huge deal. Like this guy was a DP defender, which is very
Mhm.
rare in Major League Soccer. Was one of the top paid defenders in MLS, top paid at certain points. Like that's to get a
They
guy like
built
that on
Nashville
a
around him. Like they built that team
100%.
around
Like
him.
during Nashville's
Yeah.
best seasons, they were known for how they could defend, not necessarily attack. And over the last couple of years, obviously Mukhtar's emergence and Stam Surge, like they've
Mhm.
transitioned from. Walker's not the same player that he was once, like back then, but still, like a guy like that who's not a DP on your team. Like I don't know what else you can really ask for out of a TAM central defender.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a guy, look, Jonathan Sawyer is a captain for sure, and he's going to wear the armband, and no one's taking that away from him. But, if this is hockey and you're putting A's on sweaters, then he's definitely getting an A right away
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
sweater.
Absolutely.
So that's a deal for TFC. That's the biggest sort of free agent.
He's such a bro
signing that's
too. I
come
love
in.
him. He's such a bro. Like
He's a
it's
bro. Oh
hilarious.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
a bro. Like
He's a
you'll
what was that
if
other
he-
thing? Like he said, I'm so competitive. If like you asked me like to do like I can't remember at his press
Oh,
conference.
shoot! Like the
Yeah.
waste paper basket.
Yeah,
Oh,
waste
he's
paper
great.
baskets. He's like, I'll challenge you to a game. Like,
Yeah,
I like
I
this
hate to
guy.
lose that.
He's coming in with some baggage, but this team has a lot of baggage. And I think the fact that he's coming in having not been on the field a minute with is a major plus. He hasn't had his soul destroyed by that.
Yeah, a couple of comments just on Walker here. Just reminds of a well-rounded Nick Hagglund. I think he's a little bit better defensively than Nick Hagglund. All due respect,
I get
to
the
Nick
sentiment though. Aerial threat.
aerial threat.
I get the sentiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
and then
that's a big Nick Hagglund fan right there.
yeah,
That's,
absolutely, very big Nick Hagglund fan.
Yeah,
And
we
he
love
is a
Nick
pros
Hagglund
pro.
here, but
Doesn't like being boozled because for some reason. I mean,
Yeah,
he doesn't
absolutely.
Like being boozled. Yeah.
Just on the transfer front or continuing signing front, Matias Pereira coming in as a left back.
Remember him? That was a long time ago.
yeah, I know that it feels like that signing took a while. Like it was a while ago, but he's come in now, presumably to be the starting left back for TFC. I don't really know much about his background. I obviously haven't watched him play that much, but it sounds like, based on pedigree and things like that, they're intending for him to at least compete for a starting left back position, really, in theory, be the starting left back for Toronto FC. So that was a hole we know TFC needed to plug. That's been plugged. I think the William Yarbrough signing is now official from
officially
what I'm
official.
reading
Yeah.
outside. It's officially
Yeah, I had
official.
to do a triple take when I saw it announced today. I'm like, what am I getting? Everybody's like 3-week-old tweets, but no, it's because it was officially made official. So,
he's coming in to be the number 2 goalkeeper coming in from Colorado. Interesting just in terms of, I think we speculated on this show prior to the holidays that TFC might be going after one of Max Capro or Dane St. Clair. Both stay in the league, but one goes to Miami, the other one goes to Orlando. So both getting that tax-free money down in Florida. But the bigger news from a TFC perspective is that Luka Gavrin is taking the number one spot as goalkeeper for this year, at least for the start of the year. And they're riding with him to be the number 1. How are you guys feeling? Maybe, Mike, I'll start with you, just in terms of Luka Gavrin coming in now and essentially the club showing faith in a young goalkeeper to be the number 1 for TFC.
Yeah, I'm torn. On the one hand, I like the concept of them rewarding Gavrin because it's not something that was just given to him. Like in one sense, it was definitely earned. Like when he played for Toronto FC last season and the season before, he wasn't quite at Sean Johnson level, but he definitely showed enough where he had potential to become a starter in Major League Soccer. On the other hand, you're taking a bit of a risk with a position that is incredibly important on the field.
Mhm.
If you think back to that, I believe it was the 2021 season where TFC had Quentin Westberg and Alex Bono, and two of them are two veteran goalkeepers, but they were both brutal that year. And TFC couldn't buy a save. And the one thing that was like recurring and the common theme around the fan base and questioning the team was like get some saves, and this team will be okay. So you are taking a risk at like important, part of the field. And there's definitely gonna be question marks about whether or not he's ready to step into that role today. That's gonna be the glaring questioning in goal. Like, is he ready to do this? And it'll be something that's criticized, I think, the entire season. So hopefully he comes out, starts off strong, and builds that confidence because he's shown definitely flashes in smaller sample size that he can do it. It's just, can you do this over the course of a season?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, am I imagining this, or is he not in that 1-2 minute thing that TFC dropped today from the last episode
Yes.
of All for One?
Yeah, he is.
Just talking about how he's ready and that, he can't sit in the sidelines anymore. I love that. I mean, that show's supposed to be about the season that just passed, and I want all that scuttlebutt. I don't care what Kevin has to say about the future. Give me that in next season's episodes. That being said, love the confidence. I think he's right. I think, you can't sit on Gavrin that much longer. They had to make a decision either way. Again, could be a great choice, could be an absolute disaster. And that's where I'm sitting right now. Do I have a lot of faith? No, but have I seen him like take the reins and been given the keys to the car? Absolutely not. Like, we've seen him make some really terrible mistakes when he was sort of playing piecemeal for Sean injured, etc., etc. Give him some reps. Let's see what happens. At the end of the day, Sean Johnson could fall off a cliff this year, right? And time remains undefeated. And so, I think maybe we got out from underneath a diminished asset. Of course, that's the loser's lament, right? He doesn't play for our club anymore. I don't get a chance to. I have to like it. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it, this is a guy with, at least in the league, I believe he's only got like 16 appearances over 3 seasons. Right now, he's a number 2 goalkeeper, right? So that is going to be, you're not going to get a ton of appearances that way. But I mean, he'll be right into the fire right away, right? Like, this is, there will be a lot of eyes and a lot of pressure on him. Right away, at least from the fan base, right? Because there's going to be sort of that sort of, okay, can you do it? You are a quote unquote local kid now, and not a kid. He's 25, but
Exactly.
But as
Still
a goalkeeper, a baby,
though.
for a baby, he's a baby for a goalkeeper. So there will be a lot of pressure. I think going back to the Walker Zimmerman conversation, that does help, having a Walker Zimmerman in there to talk him through things, to help him out from that perspective. You also have Richie back there as well. I suspect they will be looking at another center back. We'll get into that in a moment. But, it's a lot. It's going to be a lot on him to marshal that back line and really get their trust and really essentially quarterback a game in a lot of ways. And he has done it on sparing occasions, knowing that most likely he was going to go back to the bench whenever Sean Johnson's healthy, or when he's back from international break or international duty. But we're going to see if he can do this over an extended period of time as the number 1. And I wonder, are they going to be patient with him? Or, you sign Yarbrough, who's, probably not a number 1 anymore in MLS, but, has a lot of experience as a number 1.
Can certainly start like half of the games in a season if it's that dire. Right?
So I wonder, this is kind of like a Clint Irwin situation, even though
it's more like a Westberg. It reminds me of Westy a little bit.
No, that's probably
like, all I need to know is Yarbrough taught at like some French club. He was a goalkeeping coach, and then they're the same. I mean, to me, it's the question I have is, are they doing this because they believe in Gavrin, or are they doing this because they wanted to save some money on the bottom line for other investments? And until I know the answer to that question, I'm going to be a little cynical about it.
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's the fact that you have a guy in Gavrin who has shown potential. He is obviously going to come in cheaper than some of the other candidates. So based on from a business perspective, I think that absolutely has to be a factor, how much he costs, and it allows them to do other things in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of comments just rolling in here about the goalkeeping situation. Some people think letting Sean walk was a mistake. I get it. but also like they were paying a lot for a goalkeeper. Like I think he was the third highest paid goalkeeper in MLS.
Mhm.
You know, do you need to be paying that amount for a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There's debate around that.
I mean, the one thing I'll say about Sean Johnson, just quickly, he was TFC's MVP last season, last 2
100%.
seasons, last 3
with a
seasons.
bullet, like
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
if anyone's expecting Gavin to step up and fill those shoes, like, you're gonna be sadly disappointed. You kinda gotta temper expectations a little bit.
Yeah, that's very fair.
But, we could pick up, I guess, in other places of the field, other areas of the field can improve. Like you guys mentioned, Walker Zimmerman, attacking wise, more possession. You take off some of that pressure that Johnson was definitely swarmed with last season.
Absolutely. Just
I
a few
think
more
that's the
comments
goal,
coming
yeah.
in here. This is where I thought TFC might go with the goalkeeping situation was, go get somebody who can compete with Gavin for the number 9, not necessarily say like, hey, we're essentially handing him the number 1 shirt.
I think that's Yarbrough, honestly. Like otherwise they would have gotten a Greg Ranjitsingh or sort of left one of the Di Rosario kids.
I don't know about that. I think if you want, like, yes, I say Yarbrough can, of course, be a number 1 and start in this league. He's done it. But he's 36 coming in this. So I don't know if necessarily the plan is like, hey, this guy's really going to compete unless Luka just has a really bad.
I think it's insurance that they've got somebody in the wings that can, push Luka, but also if Luka is an abject disaster, they have a capable number 2 that can step in and stop the bleeding. And I think that's
absolutely
kind of important.
Absolutely.
I mean, Yarbrough didn't play a game last season in MLS. He was Miami's third.
Not
keeper.
one. I knew he was diminished, but I didn't think.
He had. Oh, sorry, that's right. He was in Colorado before. Yeah.
He was Miami's third keeper last year. So it's definitely.
I think the idea is that Luka is going to be the number 1, and
they're handing Luka the keys, 100%.
Yeah. And it sounds like at least from that perspective, they're going to ride with them until, maybe they'll have to reassess. I don't know, but let's be positive. I mean, Luka has shown flashes, as we've said before, that he can be a solid goalkeeper. He's with the national team right now, training in Camp Putin right now. Wonder if he'll get the gloves against Guatemala on the weekend. Okay, so those are the
Uzbekistan, which they just announced. Uzbekistan.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about the signings so far, at least the ones confirmed. Let's talk about the one that is out there floating around. The one I think all TFC fans are kind of waiting for. Probably why, to Michael Zink's point earlier, there isn't as much excitement for a signing like Walker Zimmerman, is because everybody's waiting for the number 9. When is this unicorn, magical, saving TFC life number 9 going to come for the Reds? And the report came out at the beginning of the week.
Him. Of all the people, of all the players on the planet, it had to be the guy that I've aggressively trolled since like 2018.
Yeah.
Just mercilessly.
Yeah, that TFC has put in a bid for Norwich striker and American international Josh Sargent. Controversially, he sat out the FA Cup third round tie this weekend, basically saying like, I can't play.
Yeah.
He didn't even bother saying
I got the black lung pop.
Apparently he didn't even bother saying I'm sick. He's like,
no, he said I got transfer stuff. Yeah,
I got transfer stuff and I don't want to be here, which is wild. But anyway, the bid apparently has been put in. Norwich is pushing back on this, saying that he's not leaving. Apparently have now asked for more money. The bid reportedly was around $18 million. I don't know how much that makes in pounds.
American, 13 million pounds.
Okay,
we are getting lost in the exchange rate. Because I've heard that Norwich wants like 30 million pounds. And I say ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Because if you do the exchange rate, that's like bordering on $50 million.
Yeah.
Or whatever, not 50, but like it's pretty insane. And
yeah.
Did you also read the reports that Birmingham are now tendering bids and like a couple other clubs? Do you think this wasn't a little bit of agent shenanigans?
Well, I was about to throw that question out to you guys. First of all, how realistic do you think this rumor is? And if it is so, let's just sort of play the fun game of, okay, how would Josh Sargent fit into Toronto FC, and what kind of striker do you think TFC are getting? So, Jeff, I'll start with you because you've been trolling him forever, and therefore presumably following him since he, got out of the Wolfsburg Academy.
I will admit that I followed some rabbit holes to some recent highlight packages and suffered through the dubstep for all of you. You know, apparently he's one of the best, if not the best strikers, pure strikers in the Champo right now, which I find hard to believe because I can't stand him. But looking at his highlight reel, I saw a lot more assists than goals. I saw a lot of really nice interplay with a strong group of wingers or a second forward. So I'm wondering what we see in this guy, and if we're assuming that the skill level is so different that he's just going to be able to do all of that by himself, given the fact that what scares me like crazy is that I read a tweet that they were like, this is a better Ula Brynhildsen. Well, Ula, we never really got to see Ula because either he was injured or he was getting zero service from the nitwits on both sides of the field that wanted to play with each other. So why are we looking for another striker that can't do it on their own? I guess that's what I'm saying. If we have money, we have the pick of the litter right now. So why are we going for a guy that needs other guys to be good? Haven't we learned our lesson already? That's my first question. And then my second is, I think this is agent shenanigans. I mean, they're already fielding stuff from Birmingham. They're already fielding other English offers. 30 million pounds is absolutely insane. And if this club spends that much money on anybody after the debacle of what we've just had to suffer through, they do not deserve our fandom. I mean, that's just insane. I don't care how good you think he is. That's too much money for this guy. Simple as that.
I think TFC are confident that they're going to get this over the line. There's definitely interest from Josh Sargent's side in terms of wanting to come over here. He gets a little salary bump, obviously. That part's nice of it. And then there's also the playing time factor, and really I think the project that is Toronto FC is also more appealing than it was, in the past as well. The price tag, Jeff, I think that you're alluding to, the number that I heard was 20 million pounds. And so one of the things that, I do now, one of the sites that I guess I oversee and we manage is a championship site. They cover the championship very closely. So I picked just a couple of our team's brains about Josh Sargent.
Awesome.
And they were quite blown away about the prospect of Josh Sargent going to Major League Soccer. They think he would absolutely tear it up there. Jeff, you're right. From the championship perspective, perceived as one of, and at times there was definitely a run where he was the best striker in the championship. Slowed down a little bit this year, but in the past just absolutely tore that league up. Described him as your prototypical number 9, can do a little bit of everything, but an incredibly good finisher. And they kept coming back to that point of just how good of a finisher is. And the one thing I had the exact same question and concern that you had, Jeff, is as a DP in MLS, traditionally, DPs made their money because they're able to make something out of nothing, right? They're able to make plays on their own, whether take people on or just have that incredible bit of brilliance in them. So I asked about that specifically, and they said, oh yeah, the thing that Josh Sargent does the best is his ability to turn defenders. He's very clever at that and get a shot off, outside the box, inside the box, whatever that is. So I think there's a component there where there is this bit of disconnect with who Josh Sargent is on a day-to-day basis at the club level and who Josh Sargent is, for maybe the U.S. national team and some of the
I'm having that problem
that were put in there. So, they think it's shocking that he would go for a price tag around $18 million. I don't know if that's a number that actually gets it done, but they mentioned to me that Sargent was wanted by some pretty
Werder Bremen, yeah.
incredible Premier League sides as well, and Bundesliga sides. So, look, a guy comes in at his age, his pedigree, the potential there to be a force in Major League Soccer. I mean, it's tough not to get excited about that. In terms of like how he'll fit in, I think it's exactly what I described. Like he'll be kind of this all around striker who also, by the way, likes to press and like works hard and has that strong stature as well that we've seen in the past. So, I mean, I it's again, it's
Sounds like
hard
you
not.
think it's a no-brainer. Like there's no, money's no
I
object for this.
I personally I think it would be a very good signing for TFC. Regardless of what you think about the price, and we do have a question from one of the listeners from Twitter that I will read off in a second. But just my personal, it's the right age profile. Like 25 years old, just about to get into the prime of his career. Yes, he has slowed
so weird
down
because
a little
he's been
bit.
playing for like ever. It's crazy.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, right, because he got into the Wolfsburg team very early. So he has a lot of experience in top leagues, in the Bundesliga, in a cup of tea in the Premier League, and then in the Championship. I think, last year, I actually watched quite a few Norwich games just in my Championship watching. They came up a lot. And yeah, it felt like every week he was banging in a goal. And to Michael's point, whether it was coming from service, whether he was able to turn a defender, he had a really great season last season. It has slowed down a little bit. I think one of them
before.
Sorry,
really, and the season prior,
and the season prior. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I think like the thing that slowed down a little bit. He has only scored, I think, 8 goals. I think 7 in the league and 1 in the cup. But he's also missed quite a few chances this year. I think he leads the Championship in big opportunities.
And they're so high on that homegrown.
They are very high on that. But it means that he's getting in the right positions to be able to score goals. And you figure that generally will come down to the mean. You know what I mean? So he will be scoring more goals. And when was the last time a Toronto FC striker got in positions like that often to be able to even miss that many chances? So like those are the things that you think about. Plus, I think he can build a really good relationship with Georgi Mihailovic. So he will.
I think they already
have somebody.
One, that
and
Zimmerman
he gets him service, right? And Theo gets a little bit better on the wing in terms of his delivery. Then you have somebody who could be a really big goal threat in MLS. But the question I have here, and this is from Bruno Perez 10 on Twitter, just asking, it seems like the fee is the big thing that's sort of pushing some people back in terms of this potential signing. So his question is, how much, in our opinion or our point of view, is too much for a Sargent deal? What's the value? What value would you say where you would say maybe this is too high, but we can find somebody else that can do a comparable job?
That is such a tough question, Mike.
It is a tough question, but
we know we have to overpay. We're MLS and we're TFC.
I think that's a lot of what a lot of people's pushback on this was, even to mine to a certain extent, is like, okay, this level of investment, are we sure this is the guy at this level of investment?
Yeah,
I mean, how can you be sure? Right? You can't. You're making a guess, right? Before anybody answers, I think Giancarlo sort of answered for us. Who are some of these mythical better strikers that you can get for 18 million? I think he's got a point. When you start to compare numbers, it's looking closer to like 27 million USD. But again, we overpaid for Georgie, and he's an attacking midfielder. It stands to reason that we're going to be overpaying even more for a guaranteed, striker that can pot goals. So.
I mean, I agree. Like if you want to go cheaper, like you're gonna get a lesser known commodity. And look, it's not like you can't get quality players at those price tags, but you got to have like really good scouting. You got to take a little bit of risk there, like a little bit more risk. And TFC haven't really had the best track record at doing that. Right? They've tried to find that number 9 at a cheaper price point and haven't been able to do it. So look, I mean, people want to quibble about like price tag and like how much TFC are spending. Reality is
PTSD.
100%. But the reality is too, though, like if we're spending it on a transfer fee, it's a little bit different than spending it on salary. And obviously the level of investment is quite less than it was when, let's call it, the Italian project was brought into town. And the way that these things typically work, like you got to get board approval as well, like board buy-in as well. And these are like exceptions to, let's just say, their day-to-day operating budget as
Yeah,
well.
Dad, I'm going to need more allowance. I'm buying Lorenzo Insigne kind of thing. Yeah,
Of course, and it's
exactly.
sold as
Yeah.
an overall project as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't stress too much about the whatever that overall transfer fee comes in, unless you just think Josh Sargent is like a $10 million player. Fine,
Hmm.
but if you're,
He's not.
you know, if you're bickering over like $5 million, like that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, like it's not gonna make or break
That's
the
the
game.
that's the
Are you
tax.
are you
That's the MLS
upgrading your
tax,
striker
right?
position? How much are you upgrading your striker position? Like,
A
what
lot.
level of impact will he have?
In this case, a
Just
lot.
like
And look, if you want TFC to go out and get an established striker, these are the waters you got to play in. Like these are the dollar figures that you got to swim in for a striker.
Yeah,
You know?
nobody cares that we got our clocks cleaned by Mr. Luggage and his best friend with
I
this.
mean,
Yeah, and look,
Nobody cares.
yeah. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, he was rumored to go to, like, in the summer, go to other clubs for about $30 million.
Yeah,
So
That's
like
what worries me.
that's the price tag that a guy like Josh Sargent is at, and it's for good reason. Like, it's not like this is some ridiculous price that teams can't justify paying. I think there's going to be other more competition um, to add a guy like Josh Sargent. And again, there is that disconnect again because he hasn't been able to, like a player like that should be able to cement themselves as the undoubted number 9 for the U.S. men's national team, and he hasn't been able to. So there is question marks over that, but like again, on a
Mhm.
day-to-day basis, from all accounts that I've been able to gather, like this guy's the
Once I
real
started
deal.
digging, I was like, wow, I want him immediately, 100%.
yeah. I mean, look, I think when you think about, and I stand corrected. He was at Werder Bremen, not Wolfsburg, so I apologize for that.
Yeah.
But I think like if you're banging in what last season 15 goals, 16 goals before that, 22-23 he was at 13 goals. Like, those are the championship is a really, really, really
It's
good
a
league.
gauntlet.
It is
It's
a
a gauntlet.
really good league. And if you can score double digits for 3 consecutive seasons in the championship and you get, between, I think what he was at 40 appearances in 22-23, 23-24 is at 26, 32 last year. So it sounds, this is a guy who makes appearances and is fit, right? He is playing. Now, I know he's had some injury struggles in the past, especially when he was in the Bundesliga, but generally speaking, over the last couple of seasons, he's been pretty durable for Norwich and has played a lot of games. And this is the kind, if you're looking for a guy who has played at a level that we want a number 9 to play at, you're going to be hard pressed to find something better for the price.
Unless you're buying internally, unless you're going around MLS for an absolutely proven guy who you don't have to do like secret decoder glasses. Like, what about
like
turf and the travel distance and
they're not available.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're not, and it. I don't think they're. They're not available. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see if it gets over the line. I will say too, like this will likely be the signing that defines the Jason Hernandez era.
Yes.
One way or the other. I agree. I 100% agree.
Like,
if it doesn't go through, I think he's still got some good faith with the with the fan base because there's minutia. But if it does go through, his legacy rests on the shoulders of.
Well, let's
that
like
curly-haired
what
ginger guy.
I'll say is I think even Jason Hernandez has come out publicly and said this, and this is the way that they just always conduct business. Is there's also other options for them. Like they're not just married to Josh Sargent. Like he's our guy. Like it's gonna be Josh Sargent or nothing. Like there's obviously multiple plans that they're working on, and significant ones too.
I'm very surprised by how blasé they've been, having this story kind of get pulled out from underneath them. Like it was all bluster, like, hey, Fabrizio's saying we're like, swinging dicks in the room, with our 18 million bid. And then suddenly it was like just completely denigrated. Although my favorite was all the angry Norwich fans doing their podcast the next day. It was fantastic. That like gave me life. There's a question that I really want to bring up. Should we be worried about his personality with him refusing to play for Norwich? I mean, how is it any different than Alejandro Pozuelo, right? Except that Genk was in a title push and Norwich are in a relegation fight. I mean, just be aware that you're signing an assassin, right? Like no one was ever upset when Paz didn't embrace the city of Toronto, because we kind of knew that this guy was just here for the money, and he was getting results, so we were happy.
I don't know if he didn't
that's
embrace
the same.
city.
Yeah, that's kind of
He's
harsh.
embraced Miami quite a bit, but like, listen,
Well,
at the end of the day, I'm just saying, like, I do not expect I want to call him Will Sargent because the guitarist in Echo and the Bunnymen, and I'm going to do this a lot, but like, I'm not expecting Josh Sargent to like do Tim Hortons ads, right? I'm not expecting him to like, do TFC content on his favorite place to get waffles in the city, right? Like,
he'll do that for sure. They'll get him to do that.
Maybe, but
Well,
like, I just, at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me as long as I remember that like this guy will probably leave Toronto FC in the same way,
I mean,
and
it's worth pointing out, like, he was a fan favorite before this.
oh, they hate him right
development
now. They're
went down.
so mad at him. It's
And there's
crazy.
also, I'm sure, PTSD from his side of like wanting potentially a move in the past, and the club not accommodating that as well. So you kind of got to take matters into your own hands a little bit there too. So like, I mean, look, every transfer saga is different. Everyone has their reasons for doing things. I don't think that says anything about the character of, who he will be as a Toronto FC player. At the end of the day, yeah, sure, Jeff, it is a business and people make decisions for various reasons. For the most part, Toronto FC has a very good track record of accommodating for a lot of that, and until you become a TFC legend, and then
yeah, and then we don't care anymore. I mean, how, like, really, we're gonna get on our soapbox and be like, we're worried about signing. Like, have you looked at our signing history? Like, we signed Soteldo on the basis of like one Zoom call, and look at, like, we are in no position to worry about character or some kind of moral purity test right now. I mean, if he comes and he scores goals, that's what we wanted, right? If he's a nice guy, is secondary. Honestly, like, who cares? What this team needs is a striker. Like, I wouldn't
say like I wouldn't paint that image of him though. Like, I wouldn't say that he's not I wouldn't say like he isn't bought into Toronto. I think it's the complete opposite, to be honest with you. Like, I think he wants to genuinely, be part of the Toronto FC.
I think it's
agree
minutes.
with that.
He wants to go. He wants to be in the World Cup squad. Poch.
Sure, I think he would be in the World Cup squad had he stayed at Norwich. I think that there's a couple of things. I think one is partly playing time. Norwich have a 21-year-old
they're in a relegation battle. He doesn't want to play in League 2 or whatever the hell.
Well, I mean, look, like, he'd get a move if they got relegated. And he is kind of battling for his job right now, because there is a 21-year-old. I forgot his name. Who scored a hat trick who scored a hat trick in the FA Cup third round game that he skipped.
He's going to be just as good as Achara was for us. Like, don't sign him to an extension just yet, guys. Like,
don't underestimate the opportunity for him to come here, be a designated player. Not put the money aside for a second, which obviously that's attractive, but just have that designated player tag, be the guy. Like, that can be a motivating factor in a team that is looking to rebuild, which, to Michael, your point earlier, I think that TFC is still an attractive destination for players who look at it from if we can get this right perspective, right? If we can get this right, people remember what the city was like when the team got it right.
Yeah.
And I think that plays a lot of Walker Zimmerman said it a lot. And look, that's some canned comments that he's repeated several times, and that's talking points. Sure. But I think also there is
I think he's being
kernel
sincere,
truth in that.
100%. 100%.
Right. So I think, the opportunity for him to do that here. And then, yes, of course, then, the opportunity to get a lot of playing time, score goals, and potentially get yourself on a World Cup squad at a home World Cup is also going to be appealing as well. So we'll keep monitoring the situation. We'll see what happens.
And I'm not answering Keith Sweat. You don't ask me a question and then slag Alonso Cuejo. Like, I mean, that's like, it's not happening. It's basically your question doesn't exist. So yeah, next time.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what the rumor mill brings in terms of a striker. Just really quickly, this team still has more holes than just the number 9 to fill. What other positions or types of players do you think Jason Hernandez needs to potentially consider bringing in before February? What are we looking at? February 21st, which would be Toronto FC's first game at Dallas.
Yikes.
For me, it's hands down, he's got to bring in a winger, um,
Hmm.
particularly probably a left winger, one who's more comfortable playing on the left hand side. Um, I think in his presser, he talked a lot about improving the overall spine of the team, and that's where TFC want to invest a little bit more. But there's a huge gap on that left wing. I know TFC
Yeah.
re-signed Derek Etienne Jr., which by the way was like the most controversial signing in Toronto FC
The
history.
fact that people got so bent out of shape about
So
Derek,
bent out of
he's a
shape.
I
depth
get
player,
it.
guys. Don't worry about it.
I mean, he can play
get it.
across the front three. That's, as long as he doesn't take minutes away from like the Malik Henrys of the world, I'm fine with it.
He
Honestly.
took a pay cut to stay, guys. Not a lot of people are
Yeah.
doing that right these days.
Oh, and I'm
that's
sure
true.
it was more than a pay cut. I'm sure they got him on a very, very, very team friendly deal. That's not a
Yeah.
no offense to Derek Etienne Jr. TFC were not in a position of, or sorry, Derek Etienne Jr. was not in a position of leverage whatsoever
Strength, no.
in that
Yeah, like
negotiation.
he was making peanuts last year. I think he's making like a peanut this year.
Well, I think he was actually making good money. Just a lot of it was retained by Nashville.
Okay.
But yeah, I was it Nashville that we came from?
I believe
Atlanta.
so.
I think it was Atlanta.
No, it's Atlanta. Yeah, it was Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta gave him a bag. Yeah.
Yeah. One. But anyways, yeah, I think they definitely got on a very team friendly deal. Regardless, you need a starting left winger. Like you need someone who is going to be dynamic on that side of the field, starting left midfield, whatever formation Robin Fraser decides he wants to roll out.
Please don't put Oso there. Please.
To me, that's like pretty high up on the priority, if not the number one priority after getting that number 9 through the door. And then you're looking at like kind of depth, like where else can you shore up on this team? Mentioned central defense. I mean, it sounds like TFC are willing to give Nixon Gomes and Zane Monlouis a look there at central defense. Very much happy with that. I do imagine they'll probably need something else there. Although I don't know if you guys have seen clips, but Lazar Stefanovic looks like he's grown significantly.
Good. Because when I first saw him, I was like, my goodness, he's 12. Like, what is this? Is our hot prospect? But like, I'm glad.
No, he looks good. Stefan Kapoor as well. TFC signed back in October to a homegrown contract. That guy is, when you talk about leaders at the back, like definitely has the potential to grow into all of that and then some. Like that guy is, I've been very high on him for a little while now. Yeah, to me that's the biggest thing. Beyond that, it's really depth. Like you have a midfield, depending if you're playing a double pivot or single pivot, you have Cifuentes, and you have Osorio, you have Alonso Coelho, you have people who can step into that midfield position and definitely do roles. Do you want to upgrade that? Like how much do you want to upgrade that? And the other thing is also right wing. There's a guarantee that Theo Corbeanu is your starting right winger. Training camp, or do you want to bring in competition for that role? Right. And they have cast space. They have a lot. So then it's like, what else can you add to this team that'll make a difference? I like what family's saying here in the chat. Deep line playmaker, like someone like Victor Vazquez-esque that can come off the bench and unlock teams if they're playing a low block.
Alonso Coelho. His name is Alonso Coelho.
For sure. I'm a huge fan, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, to me, it's get a striker, because that's such an area of need. But for everything else, beyond the left winger, which I actually very much agree with.
Would you guys just bring in one striker?
I mean, if we're spending 30 million pounds on him, I don't think we can bring in.
I don't think they're going to spend that much. But
I think you could look at another strike. I mean, one thing
you've got Vilsant and you've got DeAndre.
I know,
DeAndre.
I know, but I mean, DK can be a little bit versatile in where he plays. From that perspective, I know they've been playing him primarily as a 9. He can go out wide a little bit. I know, not preferred.
He's a 9 at this stage in his career.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, if it makes sense, and if you can find somebody who fits, I wouldn't be against getting another number 9. Excuse me.
A guy like Josh Sargent can also play across the front 3.
Yeah.
Let's say you're playing a 3 or 4, whatever it is. Like Sargent can play throughout that line. So if you do bring in another 9 there, that is a possibility. Options in terms
Yeah,
of
but
how long
I'm
to wait.
also happy if they roll with DK and Vilsaint
Me too. Me too.
as the sort of backup number nines,
Totally.
and then you kind of
Yeah.
have them compete against each other for that role. I don't think
Yep.
I think that's a healthy enough competition. I mean, if it ends up being Josh Sargent, he's the number 9, and there's not going to be a lot of competition for that. So it's really about who can get those spell minutes behind him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't need to
we
see
got to
them
see
put a
what
ton of money on a backup. Yeah.
did we retain Mbonge? Mbonge in
He's
camp?
coming
I
up
think he is.
preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, I'm not. I don't know if he's going to end up being the guy. I thought he was okay with Vancouver FC in his loan spell in the CPL last year.
Vancouver FC and loan spell.
Yeah, but I mean, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you just got my
check your
joke,
ears
did
on
you?
that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no,
There you go.
no, I knew the
Mm-hmm.
joke. Don't worry.
Okay.
But I think you got to kind of find out what you got with these guys
Yeah.
and make a final decision on some of them, right?
Yeah.
And then move on from there. But I agree, wing and center back. I think you do need another center back. I know they want to try out Zaymon Louis and I mean, look,
Nixon.
and Nixon, and you still got Henry Wingo to figure out what you're going to do with Henry Wingo. But I still would want to bring in another center back that the experience and potentially could take that role beside Walker Zimmerman. So that at least, again, you kind of really have a solid spine going into the season.
Yeah. Berna season tweeted maybe a couple months ago, and I keep thinking about this. Where's the goodbye to Petretta and Sigurd Rosted? Like, the club hasn't officially cut ties with any of these cats yet.
Really?
So,
oh yeah, they're gone.
Oh, no, there was a Petretta.
There was.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did a tweet for either Long or Rosted.
Sigurd.
Yeah, but they're gone.
So
they gone.
Okay. I mean, it would be nice to know.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to camp. Put it that way.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's a really unceremonious drop to find out when you're looking at the plain manifest. But whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Soccer's a results-based industry.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's
let's wrap it up with this new fun.
Yeah, as training camp goes along and we see some new faces, we'll let you know who's in camp. They're heading off to Spain, I think now, right? I think they've already taken off.
Yeah, they're there, I think. Yeah.
So they should be in Marbella until basically opening day. They're spending the entire time in Spain, which is nice for them. All right. Jeff, I know quickly you wanted to touch on the All for One.
Let's save it for next time. We'll because I want to talk more about it than the time's allotted, and I don't.
Sure, fair enough. All I'll say is I'm happy they brought the long form version of All for One back. I know.
Me too. I want the Tierney cut. There's so much on the cutting room floor that I want to see. I mean, they glossed over far too much of the drama. I want the raw tapes.
Oh well,
I want the raw footage, baby.
Yeah, it's not a Criterion collection, man. It's just a soccer team.
I want all 400 hours of the unedited stuff on the cutting room floor.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Singh, this is a new segment we're going to bring onto the show this season, where we're going to be talking about random Toronto FC players, not your big stars, not your not most of the 2017 team, guys that are coming out of the woodwork that you haven't heard of, either because you haven't heard of them because you haven't followed the team as long, or these are just really deep cut players. So, Mr. Singh, you're up first. So, who is your player, and who are we talking about?
Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, just a little bit of inspiration behind it. Like, the more that I've got to know Toronto FC fans over the years, the more that I understand how important it is to acknowledge the history of the club, to kind of live back in some of that nostalgia a little bit. Obviously, some of it was very dark times. We know this. Some of it was really good times. TFC are now at a point where it really kind of, in a weird way, has flown by. The club is now almost entering its.
This is the 20th season, so it's a poignant time for you to be doing this.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, 20 years of history. I mean, you look at some of the clubs around the world, and when they get to this point, they start to have some rich history. And I think TFC are definitely a club that you can say has a foundation of a potential rich history here. But
I
anyways,
agree.
just want to look back and just have some laughs and talk a little bit about some of the players that I wasn't following as closely at the time, or I was, and learn about like other people's perspectives from them. So the one that I brought to the table today was wasn't that long ago, but it was a short spell. So I want to talk a little bit about Tony Gallagher.
There we
And
go.
who remembers Tony Gallagher when he came over from
Hot little cup
Liverpool?
of tea he
Who
I
had
remember
yeah,
during
who
COVID.
can
Never
forget
spent a day
Tony
in Toronto.
Gallagher? Yeah,
Barely spent a
never
day in
10
Toronto.
appearances, never played a single. Did he play a single home match before his loan was recalled?
so
I don't think he did.
Tony Gallagher never played a game in Toronto. He came over during the COVID season, pandemic season. I remember it
Knew
was
Connecticut really well.
yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. I remember it was Josh Cloak who broke the news kind of out of nowhere that Tony Gallagher was undergoing a medical with TFC, and everyone's like, "Wait, what? Toronto FC are getting a Liverpool player?" And to be fair, like when he did play, like he was pretty solid for TFC, and I know
I
a lot of
loved
the
him.
fans,
I thought he was great.
a lot of the fans wanted him back. And I remember the one game where it was against Philadelphia, 2-1 win. He drove down the left wing and whipped in like one of the nicest balls that we've seen Toronto FC fullback whip in, and it was headed home by Ayo Akinola when
It was beautiful.
was scoring goals back then. So I remember that being like a highlight of his tenure here, and I remember like now looking back on it and kind of how the transfer all came together. I remember it being through Jack Dodd, who no longer works at TFC, but Jack Dodd had a really strong relationship because he worked overseas in the UK and England. I believe he had stints at Liverpool as well. So he
That
was
makes
able to
sense.
kind of forge that connection with Toronto FC, and that opened the gateway and pathway into getting Tony Gallagher to Toronto. And he had been like he played a game with Liverpool's first team. Like it wasn't a just a U23 or reserve signing.
Mhm.
And it made me also think about like guy like Nixon Gomes or Zane Monlouis, who have now come over, and Toronto FC are now tapping into that pathway and route a little bit more. And a lot of that stems from connections that were made over the years. And it's really important to have deals like these ones that you look back on as sort of proof of concept, as sort of that relationship building, to use as kind of benchmarks for deals going forward. So yeah, I think it was a short stay. I think it was a really important signing for TFC. And the last thing I'll say is like where he is now. So Tony Gallagher, when he left TFC, he ended up going to St. Johnstone, or he was back to Liverpool for a bit. Then he went to St. Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. They ended up getting relegated. And Tony Gallagher at a different club. It's called Hamilton
Academical.
Academical FC, not a club I've ever heard of before personally, but they play in the third tier of the Scottish Premiership. So quite
they're in
often known as
Scottish
the
League One.
Ackies.
Yeah, they're in League One.
So you kind of spoiled my play on words a little bit, because Tony Gallagher, Tony G, right? There's a very famous pizza place in Hamilton called Tony G, and he plays for Hamilton. So he's kind of my spirit animal, I guess. Quite accidentally.
Eats a little less pizza than you and I, Jeff.
Yeah, but I mean, he plays for Hamilton, and he's got a pizza place in Hamilton. You nailed it, Mikey. The thing that I remember about Tony Gallagher, is that I was expecting there to be a lot more going on between TFC and Liverpool. I thought this was the first of a beautiful friendship, and it just seemed to kind of die on the vine. And that's my biggest memory of Tony Gallagher, is that I thought it would be the beginning of a kind of a longer relationship, and it wasn't.
Well, my biggest memory of him, obviously, one being solid as a left back option for us when he came over, and we desperately needed one at the time.
We desperately needed one, yeah.
Was I thought that he'd stay. I thought that this was an opportunity that he would maybe stay with Toronto FC. They would work out a deal with him with Liverpool for him to stay here. But clearly he wanted to go back and fight for his place at Liverpool and see if he can get into the first team. I know at the time he hadn't played senior men's football at that point. He had only played at essentially the Premier League 2 level for Liverpool. You said I think you said he may got one senior
I think he got at least
appearance in a
one,
cup game.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I think he thought he could go back and fight for his place. To your point, Jeff, it seems like TFC does these things sometimes. Like, again, the most one that pops in my mind is the deal with Tottenham for Jermaine Defoe, where they thought they were going to have a some kind of pipe way with Tottenham players, or sending our academy players over to Tottenham. That didn't really become a thing. They tried the similar thing with Roma after they got Michael Bradley. That didn't quite
with
pan out.
Lucas Hansen. We've got a long list of skeletons, of deals that were supposed to manifest with academies, and just never did. Lucas Hansen with Independiente is a major one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think tip of the hat to Tony Gallagher. You helped us out in a pinch. I hope you really liked Hartford, Connecticut during a lockdown. Didn't get to taste. I know. I mean, hey, but at least you left at the good times. You at least got a playoff game while you were here. Yeah, he was young when he came. Yes,
he was 26. But he was old. He's 26 now, so he was
21.
He was 21 when he came over. He was a baby.
So he was super young,
a 6'7", super tall, really good footballing baby. We should have fought to keep him, but I have a feeling that if you scratch that, you find out that Liverpool wanted a shit ton of money, and we can't do it.
Yeah, that probably was the case at the time. Plus, our manager also left, so there you go. True. We'll wrap it up. A couple of notes, housekeeping notes here before we wrap up the show. One, yay, I'm back. Well, not yay. I don't know if it's yay, but I'm back on this. I'm back on the Twitter fucking X thing at Football Saves. Somehow my old username was still available, so I just walked back into my old username. So It's there at Football Saves. You can come follow me. I'll be ranting a lot about TFC throughout the year, hoping to put out some videos as well. And some game day reactions, especially if I'm down at BMO Field. While you're there, I might do some away days this year. I know some people are very much not traveling to the U.S., and that is a very logical and reasonable thing for you to do right now. I may be doing some away days, though. I love doing away day content. Love showing you what away days look like. I know Toronto supporters, I'm just going to shout them out here. They're planning a massive away day for the second game of the season this year in Vancouver. So if there is interest in that, definitely check that out. Also, TFC on the road, friends of ours, they are hoping to put together an away trip to Cincinnati for the third game of the season. I believe that's March 2nd. Somebody hold me honest on that. But if people are looking to do that as well, visit their page. You can find them on Instagram. Just search Toronto on the road and get your bus tickets. It's a there and back trip. So it's a single day. It's a lot.
And a burner phone. Get your bus tickets and a burner phone.
Yeah. And it's a lot of travel in the day, but it is fun. I may go back on the bus this year. I may roll my old bones down there for a game and do Cincinnati and show you what an away day looks like.
Cincy's a great town.
I've never been. So
it's a fun
I'm not doing the skyline chili. That looks disgusting. I'm not doing
it. It's very vibey. It's kind of Hamilton vibes. It's like a mid-sized city. It's got a serious industrial past. You'll feel right at home on it.
Yeah, I might do it. So I'll keep people apprised of whether or not I'm able to get to Cincinnati. Vancouver, I don't think I'm going to be able to just for work commitments. But yeah, other than that, we'll be back more regularly now that that sort of season started, or at least the preseason started. We'll be back next week. We're going to find try to find as regular a day as possible. We may be Mondays again. If it does switch, we will let you know, because we want the three of us to be on the show, obviously as much as possible. But we're all busy people that need to pay rent and mortgages, and one of us is getting married this year, and one of us is the best man at a wedding that needs to plan a very expensive party. A lot.
And the other one is Jeff.
Yeah, so a lot going on this year, but we're really glad to be back. Glad a lot of you have come on board again and talking TFC.
Yeah, it's great. I love doing this. I love the community. I love the hot takes. Like, it's the only way we can keep ourselves sane, honestly.
Yeah,
Following this
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, for Jeffrey P. Nesker, for Michael Singh, I'm Mike Newell. We will see you next week. Cheers, everybody. Bye.
Peace.
And wait, and baby, I'm TFC till I die.
Hey, Mike.